The battlefield was silent, too silent. Alien fleets hung in orbit, their guns still smoking, debris of shattered ships drifting in the void. The survivors huddled in ruined shelters, whispers of surrender heavy in the air. They thought it was over, that no one would come. But then the blackness of space trembled. A ripple cut through the stars, and out of the void tore a human warship, colossal, scarred, its cannons glowing with fury. Its engines roared like thunder across the vacuum, casting light over the broken world below. To the defeated, it was a miracle. To the enemy, it was the sound of doom. The stars were silent, and silence meant death. The alien city burned, plasma fires scorching towers until they collapsed into molten ruins. Survivors huddled beneath shattered walls, their wide luminous eyes staring upward at the endless swarm of enemy vessels that blotted out the sun. They had begged for mercy. They had screamed for aid. None came. The Empire had abandoned them, allies turned away, and even their gods remained silent. Hope was gone. A girl knelt in the ashes, her violet skin streaked with soot, her torn uniform clinging to her small frame. She had been a soldier once, trained to fight, but what use was a rifle against a fleet that consumed entire worlds? She pressed her trembling hands to the ground as the shadow of the invaders loomed above. They had come to erase her people, to burn their names from history. And they were winning. Then, the void split open. The blackness rippled, stars bending as if reality itself recoiled. A tear of light widened in the heavens, and through it roared a single warship. Its hull was scarred, patched from battles long past, but it carried itself like a predator reborn. The emblem on its prow gleamed faintly even through the smoke and fire, the crest of humanity. The aliens looked up in disbelief. And then the warship opened fire. The sky turned white. Beams of energy carved through the invader fleet like blades through flesh. Missiles streaked, detonations blooming into suns. The ground quaked as burning wreckage rained from orbit. The survivors below stared, mouths open, as the human vessel dove into the swarm without hesitation, alone against hundreds. Inside its bridge, Captain Darius gritted his teeth as alarms screamed. His face was hard as steel, his uniform stained with smoke. "Lock batteries. Fire at will." "They outnumber us 200 to 1, his officer shouted. Darius's voice was calm, brutal, unshaken. "Then we've got enough targets." The human warship tore through the enemy like a beast unleashed. Its rail cannons punched holes the size of towers through dreadnoughts. Boarding craft were ripped apart by point defense guns before they could even aim. The invader fleet, so certain of victory, faltered for the first time. On the surface, the alien girl shielded her eyes from the glare. She whispered, half in disbelief, "Humans." Her people had spoken of them. Outsiders. Strangers. Too reckless to ally with, too dangerous to trust. Yet here, when all hope had died, it was a human warship that came. But even miracles bled. The enemy rallied. Dozens of capital ships converged, their combined fire slamming into the lone vessel. Hull plating buckled, alarms shrieked, flames licked through corridors. Still, the ship pressed on, fighting like a wounded animal unwilling to fall. Darius stood tall on the bridge, hands gripping the command rail. "They'll expect us to retreat." "We don't retreat. Drive us straight into their throat." The helmsman hesitated. "Sir, that's an order." The human warship roared forward, tearing into the enemy flagship. Cannons fired until barrels melted. Fighters launched from bays already burning, pilots screaming war cries into the void. The human ship's engines flared like suns as it rammed straight into the fleet's heart. The battle above became apocalypse. The alien girl ran through the ruined streets as debris fell like meteors. Towers cracked and split, waves of fire sweeping across avenues. Survivors screamed and scattered, but she did not hide. She climbed, higher and higher, until she reached the broken remains of a citadel wall. From there, she saw it all. One ship. One human ship tearing apart an empire's fleet. She saw the warship's guns fall silent one by one, weapons slagged from overuse. Saw its armor peel away, its frame breaking under endless barrages. Still it fought. Still it killed. And at its helm stood the human who refused to surrender. Then came the final strike. Darius's ship was bleeding fire, venting atmosphere, its crew dead or dying. He knew the end was close. But he also knew his enemy was faltering. The flagship that had led this massacre was within reach. He turned to the last surviving officer. "Get the escape pods ready." "And you, sir?" Darius gave a grim smile. "I'll be piloting her in." The officer tried to protest, but Darius cut him off with a single look, the kind only a man who had already chosen death could give. Moments later, the human warship's engines ignited in a final burn, driving the burning vessel into the enemy flagship. The collision split the void with light. A blast like a dying star consumed the fleet, fire rolling across the heavens as ships shattered into molten wreckage. The survivors on the ground fell to their knees. The invaders were gone. The sky was clear again. The alien girl stood unmoving, her teal eyes wide, reflecting the fire above. She watched as the human warship burned, breaking apart, its wreckage scattering across the void like shattered bones. Her lips trembled as she whispered, "No." But she knew. The human was gone. The days after were filled with ash and silence. Her people crawled from the ruins, blinking at the sunlight, alive when they should have been dead. They spoke of miracles, of survival, of vengeance yet to come. But the girl knew the truth. It had not been a miracle. It had been a choice. One man, one ship, choosing to fight when no one else would. She stood on the edge of the ruins, looking to the black scar in the heavens where the human ship had died. Her hand clenched tight against her chest. She lived because he had not. The world would rebuild. Her people would recover. But she would never forget. Because when all hope was gone, and the void had claimed everything, one human warship had risen. And in its fire, it had given them back their future.